Sometimes when a person makes dua with complete sincerity, they expect the answer to come immediately, but the wisdom of Allah is far deeper than our limited understanding. When He delays a blessing, it is never because He has ignored the prayer or withheld mercy. It is because the timing, the circumstances, or the condition of the heart is not yet aligned with what is best. What feels like silence is actually a form of divine preparation taking place in ways you cannot see. There are moments when you feel you are ready, but Allah knows that receiving the blessing now might overwhelm you, distract you, or even harm you. He knows the hidden realities you cannot see, so He protects you through delay. He takes what you ask for and holds it gently until the time is right, shaping the path and shaping your heart so that when the blessing arrives, it becomes a source of stability rather than a source of chaos. Many people become frustrated when things don't happen according to their timeline, but the truth is that Allah's timing is always more perfect than anything we could plan. You may want something immediately, but perhaps if it came too soon, you wouldn't appreciate it or you wouldn't be able to maintain it. What comes quickly often leaves quickly, but what comes through patience and divine timing settles into your life with purpose and strength. Delay is also a way Allah strengthens your character. Patience is not built in comfort, it is built in moments where you must trust without evidence and believe without seeing. Those periods of waiting purify your intentions, deepen your reliance on Allah, and remove the illusions that you are in control. Through waiting, your faith becomes stronger, your heart becomes softer, and your connection to Allah becomes more sincere. Sometimes a delay happens because Allah is removing obstacles from your path. You may not see the hidden difficulties, harmful people, or unseen challenges being cleared away, but Allah is constantly arranging the unseen for your benefit. The delay is not a punishment, it is a cleansing of the environment in which your blessing will eventually land so that when it comes, nothing stands in its way. Other times, delay is Allah's way of protecting you from settling for less. You may think you are asking for something good, but Allah knows something better is coming, something more suited to your future, something more aligned with your destiny. If He gave you what you asked for too soon, you might cling to it and miss the greater blessing He intended for you. Delay becomes the bridge that leads you from what you want to what you truly need. There are moments when a person makes dua for a specific thing, but through the waiting period, Allah transforms their heart so deeply that they no longer desire what they once cried for. This shift is not a loss, it is guidance. The delay gave your soul time to grow into a wiser version of itself, capable of recognizing what truly serves your purpose and what does not. Sometimes the delay is simply a test of sincerity. Many people ask for blessings only when they feel desperate, but when the desperation fades, so does the consistency of their dua. The delay separates temporary desire from committed intention. When you continue to make dua even when there is no visible progress, it shows that your trust in Allah is real, not conditional. This sincerity is beloved to Allah. Delay can also be an act of mercy. If the blessing came immediately, you might attach your happiness to it instead of attaching your heart to Allah. But when you wait, struggle, pray, and grow, you learn that true contentment comes from Allah alone, not from the things you seek. This realization makes the eventual blessing sweeter, purer, and filled with gratitude rather than entitlement. And in every delay, there is divine wisdom unfolding quietly. Your prayers rise, your patience builds, your future aligns, and your heart prepares. What feels like waiting on the outside is transformation happening on the inside. A refinement that ensures you are ready when the blessing finally reaches you in the most perfect way. When a person raises their hands and calls upon Allah with sincerity, that moment is never lost or overlooked. Even if there is no immediate change in their life, the dua has already been heard by the one who hears every whisper, every breath, and every unspoken word. A dua does not disappear into the air. It rises with purpose, received by the Lord who never turns away a heart that seeks Him. The unseen response begins the moment the dua is made. There are duas that Allah answers instantly, and there are duas He stores for the day of judgment, and there are duas He uses to divert harm that was written to approach you. You might not realize how many difficulties were removed from your path simply because you made a sincere dua at the right moment. A dua can protect you from an accident, save you from a loss, or prevent you from entering a situation that would have harmed your heart. Allah responds in ways that are subtle, beautiful, and perfectly timed. Sometimes people think their dua is ignored because they do not see any dramatic change, but they overlook the small shifts happening around them. The peace that enters the heart after dua is a response. The clarity that comes days later is a response. The opportunity that appears unexpectedly is a response. Even the patience you gain, the strength you develop, and the wisdom you grow into are all part of the answer Allah sends. The response is not always material. Sometimes it is internal growth. There are duas that take years before the answer becomes visible, but every moment of waiting is recorded as worship. When you make dua consistently, even when you feel tired or lost, you demonstrate trust at a level that is deeply loved by Allah. Your persistence shows that you believe in His promise more than the changing conditions of your life. A dua made in pain is never the same as a dua made in ease, and Allah values the sincerity that comes from a heart struggling to stay strong. Even when your lips cannot form the words, your silence speaks. A tear rolling down your face is a dua. A heavy heart is a dua. A longing buried deep inside your chest is a dua. Allah knows what you want even before you say it, and He responds based on the truth inside your soul, not just the words on your tongue. Your dua is never judged by how beautifully it is spoken, but by how sincerely it comes from your heart. There are moments when you think your dua was forgotten, but in reality, Allah is saving it for a time when it will benefit you the most. He knows the future you cannot see. He knows which blessings will make you grow and which will make you fall. He knows when a blessing will turn into a test and when a test will elevate you. His knowledge is complete, and His response to your dua reflects this perfect understanding. A dua is also a connection. Every time you raise your hands, you renew your bond with Allah. You remind yourself that you are not in control, that you are dependent on Him, that you trust Him even when life feels confusing. This connection purifies the heart. It removes arrogance. It fills the soul with humility and softness. Even if nothing in your life changes immediately, your heart changes through dua, and that transformation itself is a form of acceptance. When Allah answers your dua in a way you don't expect, it is not because He denied your request. It is because He gave you something better for your faith, your future, or your protection. You may ask for one specific thing, but Allah may respond by giving you a different path, a new direction, or a blessing that fulfills the deeper need behind your request. His response always contains wisdom, even when it is hidden. There are duas whose effects you will only understand years later. You will look back and realize that what you asked for would not have benefited you, and that Allah's response was more merciful than what you thought you wanted. You will recognize how many closed doors protected you, how many delays were actually safeguards, and how many setbacks pushed you towards something better. Every sincere dua eventually reveals its purpose, and there are duas whose answers you may only witness in the next life. Allah stores them as mountains of reward, as moments of ease in the grave, or as elevations in paradise. Nothing you ask Him for is ever ignored, lost, or wasted. Every dua becomes a source of mercy, either in this world or the next, because every call you make to Him is heard with full attention and full compassion. Sometimes after making dua, there is a moment of stillness that settles into the heart, a quietness that feels different from anything you felt before, as if something within you has been gently reassured. That calmness is not accidental. It is a sign from Allah that He has heard you and that your soul has been touched by His mercy. This feeling is one of the earliest indicators that your prayer is already on its way toward fulfillment in the unseen, even before anything visibly changes around you. You may notice that this calmness appears even when the situation you are facing is still difficult. The problem might still be there, the challenges might still feel heavy, but inside your chest something has softened. You feel lighter, more hopeful, more grounded. This is a spiritual response, a form of tranquility that Allah places in the hearts of those whose dua has been accepted. It is a way of telling you that while the world remains the same on the outside, something has already shifted on the inside. The feeling of peace after dua is a mercy because it prevents the heart from drowning in worry. It stops your thoughts from spiraling into fear. It slows down your racing mind. It replaces anxiety with trust. This inner calm is one of the most beautiful gifts Allah grants His servants, because when your heart is at peace, your eyes start to see life differently, your reactions become gentler, and your hope becomes stronger. You are no longer battling your hardship alone. Sometimes this calmness arrives suddenly, like a wave that washes over you, catching you off guard. At other times it creeps in gradually, settling into your heart day by day until you notice that the fear that once controlled you no longer has the same power. This is because Allah sends reassurance in ways that fit your emotional state. For some people, it comes as a burst of clarity. For others, it comes as a slow, steady strengthening of the heart. The peace you feel is a sign that your heart has connected deeply with Allah. It means your dua was made with sincerity, humility, and trust. And Allah responds to sincerity with serenity. When you pour your heart out to Him, He fills your heart with a tranquility that no worldly solution can ever offer. This inner calm becomes a shelter during storms, a light during confusion, and a reminder that your connection with Allah is alive and strong. There are moments when you cannot explain why you suddenly feel relieved, why your chest feels open, or why your thoughts feel quiet. You might even wonder how you gained such peace without the problem being solved yet. This is the spiritual sign that Allah has accepted your dua. The acceptance of a prayer does not always begin with a change in your circumstances. It often begins with a change inside your heart, preparing you to receive what is coming. This feeling also teaches you to trust Allah more deeply. When your heart calms down after speaking to Him, you learn that comfort comes from Him, not from people or situations. You learn that relief begins on the inside long before it appears on the outside. You learn that when you surrender your worries to Allah, He responds by strengthening your inner world first, so that you are ready when the outer world changes later. The peace after dua is also a reminder that you are not navigating life alone. It shows you that Allah is aware of your struggles, that He is close to you, that He is sending reassurance even before sending the solution. This reassurance keeps you patient, keeps you hopeful, and keeps you grounded while you wait for the blessing to arrive. It is His way of letting you know that He is with you through every moment of the journey. There are times when this peace feels like a whisper in your soul, telling you not to worry, telling you to trust, telling you to hold on just a little longer. It is a spiritual comfort that cannot be bought or forced. It can only be given by Allah, and when He gives it, it becomes a sign of His care and a signal that relief is near. Your heart senses something your eyes cannot yet see, and that sense is a mercy from the most merciful. And as this calmness settles into your chest, it becomes a shield that protects you from impatience, fear, and despair. It allows you to move through your days with quiet confidence, knowing that your dua has already reached the one who never disappoints the callers. The heart that feels peace after dua is a heart that has been touched by divine reassurance, and this reassurance is often the first sign that your blessing is already on its way to you. When Allah is preparing you for a blessing, the process often happens quietly, deep within your character, long before anything changes on the outside. You may not realize it in the moment, but the delays, the challenges, the small victories, and even the disappointments are shaping you into someone who can hold the blessing with maturity and responsibility. Blessings are not just gifts, they are trusts, and Allah only gives a trust when the heart is ready for it. This preparation is one of the greatest signs of His love for you. There are times when you think you are ready for what you are asking for, but Allah sees aspects within you that still need development. Perhaps your patience needs strengthening, your discipline needs improvement, or your gratitude needs deepening. Allah refines your character not to punish you, but to purify you so that when the blessing finally arrives, it does not overwhelm you or distance you from Him. What you see as waiting, Allah sees as training. Sometimes Allah places you in situations that test your honesty, integrity, or self-control, because the blessing you are asking for requires high levels of character. You may pray for success, but success requires humility. You may pray for a good spouse, but a good spouse requires emotional maturity. You may pray for opportunities, but opportunities require discipline and consistency. Allah shapes these qualities within you before He hands you the blessing so that you can protect what He gives you. There are moments when Allah removes people from your life, not because they were bad, but because they would not have supported the version of you that He is creating. Sometimes He closes a door that you desperately wanted to enter, not because you were undeserving, but because the blessing behind that door would have been ruined by your earlier state of mind. The preparation phase often involves detachment, redirection, and purification, all guided by divine wisdom. You might find yourself developing habits you didn't have before, waking up earlier, praying more consistently, letting go of negative thoughts, or becoming more patient with yourself. These small shifts are signs that Allah is preparing your heart to carry something important. A blessing that arrives without inner change often becomes a burden, but a blessing that arrives after inner change becomes a gift that strengthens your faith and your life. Sometimes the preparation feels heavy because it comes through tests. You face setbacks that force you to become stronger. You face losses that teach you resilience. You face loneliness that teaches you reliance on Allah rather than people. These experiences shape your character in ways comfort never could. Allah is not delaying your blessing. He is building the version of you that can thrive once the blessing arrives. There are also moments when Allah softens your heart, making you more compassionate, more grateful, and more aware of your purpose. The blessing you are praying for might require emotional depth and spiritual clarity, so He expands your heart gradually. You might notice yourself becoming more humble, more forgiving, or more content than you once were. These qualities are essential for sustaining a blessing with dignity and wisdom. Sometimes Allah prepares you by increasing your gratitude before giving you more. He teaches you to appreciate small things so that when the big blessing arrives, you receive it with a heart full of humility rather than entitlement. Gratitude is one of the strongest magnets for blessings, and Allah often strengthens this quality within you through simple, quiet lessons embedded in daily life. You might notice that Allah removes harmful habits from your life without you even realizing it. He distances you from environments that used to distract you, or frees you from patterns that once held you back. These are subtle signs that He is clearing the path so your blessing can enter. When Allah purifies your heart and your behavior, it is because He wants your blessing to remain stable, not fleeting. All of these signs, growth, maturity, patience, clarity, discipline, gratitude, emotional strength, are indicators that Allah is preparing you for something greater. The transformation inside you is directly connected to the blessing you have been praying for. When Allah improves your character, it is because He is getting you ready to receive, protect, and honor the blessing that will soon arrive in your life. What is written for a person is so deeply intertwined with their destiny that no amount of fear, pressure, or interference from others can change it. When Allah writes something for you, it becomes part of your path in a way that fits your life perfectly. appearing at the right time in the right manner and with the right wisdom behind it. You may worry about obstacles, delays, or people standing in your way, but none of these can erase what has already been decreed for you. The divine plan moves forward regardless of who doubts it or who tries to stop it. There are moments when you look around and feel like everything is working against you. Doors seem closed, opportunities seem distant, and your hopes seem fragile. But the truth is, if Allah has written something for you, then every closed door is simply a redirection toward the path where your blessing is waiting. People might misunderstand you, situations might fail you, and time might test you, but destiny unfolds exactly as Allah designed it. Nothing in this world has the power to override His decree. Sometimes you chase things that are not meant for you, believing they will bring happiness or success. You pour energy into them, pray for them, and plan your life around them, only to find that they slip away. In those moments you may feel disappointed, but what is not written for you will never settle comfortably in your heart nor stay in your life, even if you manage to hold it temporarily. You are protected from it, because it would not have led you to the future Allah wants you to reach. What is written for you does not require you to struggle endlessly to make it happen. It does not demand that you compromise your values or lose your peace. When something is meant for you, Allah eases your way toward it, even if the journey includes hardship. You will find signs, support, and moments of clarity guiding you. You will feel a subtle alignment within your heart that tells you this path is yours, even if the road is long. Destiny always carries a sense of familiarity when it arrives. Sometimes you see others receiving blessings that you deeply want, and you wonder why your turn hasn't come yet. The reality is that your blessing has its own time, its own pace, and its own place in your life story. Comparing yourself to others only blinds you to the quiet ways. Allah is preparing you for something that fits you far better. What is written for someone else cannot be taken by you, and what is written for you cannot be taken by anyone else. There are times when people try to discourage you or make you doubt your worth. They may underestimate your abilities or question your dreams, but the plan that Allah has written for you does not rely on their approval or belief. Their opinions have no influence over destiny. Even if they try to block your progress, Allah can elevate you from directions you never expected. Your future is not in their hands, it is in His, and He never misguides what He has planned. You may not understand why certain things happen the way they do, but every twist in your journey carries meaning. A rejection that hurt you today might be the protection that saves you tomorrow. A failure that frustrates you now might be opening the path to a greater success later. Allah's decree is written with wisdom that spans your entire life, not just your present moment. What is written for you will always be more beneficial than anything you try to force for yourself. There will be moments when you feel uncertain, unsure if what you are pursuing is truly meant for you. In those moments, turn inward and notice the state of your heart. If something brings constant anxiety, constant fear, or constant heaviness, it may not be written for you. But if something brings you clarity, peace, or a sense of steady direction, it might be a sign that Allah is guiding you toward it. Destiny often whispers through the calmness of the heart. Even when you make mistakes, the destiny written for you does not vanish. Allah's mercy is greater than your errors, and His plan is wider than your missteps. Sometimes your mistakes become part of the path that leads you to what is meant for you, teaching you resilience, humility, or wisdom along the way. You are never too far from what Allah has destined, because the path to your written blessing bends and adjusts with His compassion. And as you continue moving through life, you will begin to see how everything that is truly meant for you comes with a natural ease and stability. It fits into your life like a missing piece that was always meant to be there. No effort to force it is required, no fear of losing it consumes you, and no doubt clouds it. What is destined for you arrives with a sense of purpose and belonging, because it was written for you long before you even knew to pray for it. Trusting the process begins with understanding that every dua you make is part of a larger journey, one that unfolds step by step in ways you may not fully recognize. Even when nothing seems to change around you, the act of making dua itself pulls you closer to Allah, strengthens your spiritual muscles, and deepens your certainty. This inner transformation is a crucial part of the path, because before the blessing arrives, Allah ensures your heart is anchored firmly in trust rather than worry. There are times when you look at your life and wonder why you haven't reached the destination you prayed for. You may feel tired, confused, or discouraged by the lack of visible progress, but trusting the process means believing that the unseen work is just as important as the visible. Each prayer you make becomes a brick in the foundation of the blessing you are moving toward. Each moment of patience builds a strength you will later rely on. Allah never wastes the effort of a sincere believer. Consistency in dua is a sign that your heart has chosen Allah as its refuge, no matter what the circumstances look like. When you continue to pray without seeing immediate results, it shows endurance, sincerity, and humility. These qualities are beloved to Allah, and they prepare you to receive blessings with gratitude instead of pride. Trusting the process is not only about waiting. It is about growing through the waiting, becoming someone who can hold the blessing with wisdom. There are days when your faith feels high and days when it feels weak, and trusting the process means showing up in both conditions. You make dua when your heart is full of hope, and you make dua when your heart feels heavy. You call upon Allah in moments of clarity, and you call upon Him in moments of confusion. Your consistency becomes proof that you rely on Him more than your emotions, and this reliance becomes a powerful form of worship. When you trust the process, you learn to appreciate small signs and subtle hints Allah places along your journey. A sudden moment of peace, a small opportunity, a piece of advice, or a new perspective may seem insignificant, but these are often the early stages of your dua being answered. Allah rarely delivers a blessing all at once. He often brings it gradually, allowing it to unfold in stages that your heart can handle. Trusting the process also means letting go of impatience. Impatience makes the heart restless and blinds you to the progress happening around you. But when you choose patience, you allow your soul to breathe. You allow Allah's timing to unfold naturally. You allow your mind to settle into the belief that everything written for you will come when the moment is right. Patience is a shield that protects your hope while the blessing is still forming. There are moments when you feel tempted to give up on a dua because you don't see results, but trusting the process means understanding that persistence is part of acceptance. Many blessings arrive right after a person decides to continue praying despite feeling defeated. These turning points are tests of sincerity, moments where you either choose doubt or choose conviction. When you choose conviction, you show Allah that your trust in Him is stronger than your frustration. Trusting the process also means accepting that Allah answers in ways you may not expect. You may pray for one specific outcome, but Allah responds with a path that leads you somewhere even better. The route may be different, the timing may surprise you, and the form of the blessing may not match what you pictured, yet it will always match what you need. Allah gives with wisdom, not with impulse, and trusting this wisdom brings peace to the waiting heart. As you move through life, trusting the process teaches you to surrender control. It reminds you that you are not responsible for outcomes, only for effort. Your job is to pray, to act, to stay patient, and to remain hopeful. Allah's job is to open the doors, arrange the timing, and deliver the results. When you embrace this truth, your heart becomes lighter because you stop carrying the weight of things that were never in your hands. Through all of this, consistency in dua becomes the anchor that keeps you steady. It keeps your heart connected to Allah, keeps your hope alive, and keeps your spirit strong. Trusting the process transforms the waiting period from a burden into a journey of faith. even before the blessing arrives, you begin to experience the peace, clarity, and growth that come from placing your complete trust in the one who never abandons the prayers of a sincere heart.